Nope can be very confusing. Nope was released on the 11th of August 2022 and is directed by Jordan Peele. Now, Jordan Peele is the same person that gave us Get Out and Us. Of all of them, I'll say Get Out was what made everybody realize Jordan Peele means business. But the truth is, if you follow Jordan Peele from his days at Comedy Central, it's interesting how he found a way to create comedy and sometimes a little bit of that fear factor in some of his comics. So he follows the characters OJ, Otis Jr. and Emerald, who are siblings. Now, from the trailer, you'll see that first and foremost, they lost their dad, right? It was something like a freak accident. It looked like things fell from the sky and a coin fell straight into his dad's eye, and that was it. His dad was dead. And the entire premise around their lives was they own this horse ranch and they are horse breeders. That's the horses that you find in movies for stunts and everything. These are the guys that provide it. And here's the fun thing about this movie. It paid more attention, at least in the first act, to the lives of people who are behind the scenes. So and that's why you see it for a lot of these movies, especially foreign movies. You see that the end credits could be about 5, sometimes even longer, 5 minutes plus long, because a lot of people are behind the scenes to make this happen, but they don't get as much credit. Not many people remember the names. I mean, I can easily remember Jamie Foxx, but if you ask me for the name of the guy that worked lighting on one of the movies he was on at any time, I don't remember him. You understand? So this sort of like shed a little bit of spotlight on the lives of the people that are behind the scenes. But then on their ranch, they realized that a couple of strange things were happening and their horses were disappearing, and a lot of things about this movie just seemed very unexplained. And then it was all pointing towards a sort of UFO situation. But then the thing that was happening with this UFO is they could not actually get any actual evidence because everything electronic just shuts down whenever this UFO was around. And that was the crazy thing about it. So they noticed that there was just this cloud that wasn't moving throughout the day. And they realized that, oh wow, that is where it is. And at this point, I mean, I'm not giving any spoilers, right? I will get to that point later and I'll give you a heads up. But then, because you see it in the trailer, even in the promotional material, there is the cloud, and you're wondering what is in the cloud. Now, here's the thing about, and I'm just going to, I'm just going to go straight into it for this review. The thing about Jordan Peele as a director that I've noticed is, when it comes to his movies, the messaging can be obscure. I'll say the most straightforward movie that is released as directed is his very first one, which was Get Out. It was Get Out, straight to the point, you understand? But then the most obscure one of them all is clearly Nope, and for good reason. I mean, it's a style of directing. It's something that he wanted to do with this movie, so you can infer your own meanings. And what do I mean by that? From the very first scene in this movie, even from when the animations for Universal and his own production company Monkey Paw comes on screen, you're already hearing some SFX in the background. You're hearing some voices and you're hearing some SFX in the background. And when the scene opens, we see that it's a monkey, and then there is a lot of carnage. There's blood. The monkey's hand is bloodied and all of that. And then you're wondering, how does this apply to the greater story? Because after that scene is done, we just move to the initial parts which we saw in the trailer. But here's the thing, here's something that I'll say I noticed, and now I'm beginning to enter a bit of spoiler territory. So here's something that I'll say I noticed about the story. Stephen Yeun's character was a thread between that initial scene and the UFO. If you notice, you remember it was him as a kid, but now it's him as an adult. And there were a lot of underlying things in this particular thing, and that's the funny thing about this movie. I am in this review going to explain some of the things that I noticed, and if there are any other things you noticed that I did not mention in this review, feel free to drop it in the comment section. But one thing I noticed was the connection between how people that have escaped some sort of traumatizing incident, they take it in one form or the other. In the case of this character, they took it in a way to monetize off that trauma, because you notice he had a room that had memorabilia from the show itself. We even mentioned that the other day a couple paid him $50,000 just to spend the night in there, and did not ask them what they did. So that's the thing. People go through traumatizing incidents and they react to it differently. Some people just shut themselves off from the rest of the world. Some people try to help others move past it. Some people monetize it. In his own case, he tried to monetize it, and clearly, he did not learn a lesson, because it was now made evidence in the course of the movie that he realized that there is something that is sucking up all these horses, and these are horses that he's been buying from OJ, and he uses it to draw people to his park to show them what was happening. But clearly, when the UFO, when the alien took in that statue of the horse, he got pissed, and then yes, he went on his antrum and he killed every other thing around them, including the character himself. So that's the thing. That was something that I could say, even though some people might think, what was the point? What was the purpose of that entire backstory? Because it somehow did not tie into the story of OJ, and that's an OJ played by Daniel Kaluuya and his sister played by Keke Palmer. But that's the thing. I think for this particular part, that was what the director, and that's the funny thing about Jordan Peele. I think with his movies, he lets you draw your own conclusion. And if that's a con for you for this movie, if that is something about this movie that you absolutely dislike, I'll just tell you moving forward, because given the trajectory of the movies that Jordan Peele is making, I don't think his movies are for you, because that is what he will continue doing. He's not going to just give you a straightforward answer in his movies that you just watch the movie and say, oh yes, I understood. No, I think you will leave the cinema, if you're watching the cinema, if you watch it at home or wherever you are, you end up watching this movie and then you start pondering that, what happened? What does that saying mean? What did that saying mean? The TMZ reporter in the movie, Keke Palmer's character, Emerald, she told him, while some weird stuff was happening there, and it was there, she told him, she said, you don't want to go that way. Like, she made it clear to him that, yo, do not go that way. But then you're saying you are trying to hide something, and I'm going that way. And then he went that way, and of course, an electric bike, when it comes across a device that shuts off every form of electricity, it was in a bad crash. But you notice that even when OJ was trying to save him, while he had crashed horribly, right? What was he saying? He was saying, did you get a camera? Can you get my camera? Can you film this? So that's the thing. It sort of makes you think that because their entire purpose at the end of the day was trying to get this UFO on camera, right? Even when they reach out to that DP, the DP that shoots the almost impossible, right? The TMZ guy had crashed. OJ was trying to save his life. And then what was he concerned about? The camera. Did he get the footage? So it's crazy, because it's like we put money over everything and then we act surprised when it's the cause of our downfall. The TMZ guy was in the crash and he was still asking OJ, did you get the shot? And like, when you get sucked up and you die, will you be surprised? So that's the thing. I think that was also sort of like and I might be reading too much meaning into this, but to me it looked like it was like a social conscious wake-up call type of thing, that do not put money over your personal safety. If you remember, they were mentioning it a lot. Of course they used nope a lot in the movie, but then they were mentioning it a lot when they were talking about not just selling to some UFO conspiracy theorist channel, but then their Oprah moments. That was the reason why they tried to keep this to themselves, and they ended up hurting more than they ought to, because they wanted to capture it first so that they would have their Oprah moment. And while I could sort of understand the importance of the discovery, right? If you notice, Angel was saying, yes, while I understand that there is the money aspect of and fame, all of that, we are doing some good out here, right? Because I think he was more or less like the conscience in a way of this entire thing, because he was thinking about it that yes, money and fame and all of that is good, but we are doing the right thing at the end of the day, right? So that's another aspect from this movie that you can think about, that yes, it's not, you should not prioritize money, gain, wealth over your personal safety at the end of the day. Of course, people risk it, and this movie is not going to change a lot of minds, I think. And for anybody's mind that it does change, if they think about it this deeply, I think the message has been passed. And that's the thing about Nope. I don't think if you wanted a straightforward answer watching Nope, then it is not for you. But then if you actually understood that, okay, I am about to watch a Jordan Peele movie, it's not just going to tell me, hey, these are all the answers, point A to point B. Here I am holding your hands. But it's going to make you think a lot more deeply about what a particular scene or a particular action means in the movie. Then I think you're going to enjoy the movie. I mean, there's another moment where, and also still talking about the TMZ guy and OJ. OJ was trying to save his life, right? And then he made a comment to OJ. He was like, I think this is your moment to shine or something like that. Now, OJ was wearing a crew hoodie for a movie. And here's the thing. Crew members are never in front of the screen. I mean, that's why they are crew. It's the cast that are in front of the screen. And like I mentioned earlier in this review, you don't know a lot of crew members' names. I mean, my name has appeared in the end credits of the movie, but I can bet you don't even know the title of the movie or anything like that. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it was like, this is your moment to shine. Like this is your time in the sun kind of moment. And that's the thing. So I think that was a sort of like a homage to people that are behind the scene, people that walk behind the scene. I think there are a lot of hidden meanings in this movie. And honestly, while I'm not going to sound like some kind of intellectual, I don't want to watch a Jordan Peele movie every time. So I'm not going to, and it depends on the mood. It depends on the moment it catches me. I'll tell you for a fact, if I watch Nope at one of those moments when I just wanted a straightforward movie, or maybe a DC League of Super Pets kind of movie, and I just want to have fun and laugh, I'll probably maybe even rate Nope like a 4/10, right? But I'm glad I watch it knowing all of these things up front and knowing what I wanted to get out of this movie, knowing the kind of director he is. And really, I enjoyed the movie. It was a fun watch for me. I give it a 9/10. It wasn't bad in any way. It's like I said, if you want to be spoon-fed, this movie is not for you. You'll probably even give it a 0/10, maybe. But then, if you really understand the kind of director Jordan Peele is, the kind of movies he does, because I mentioned the Comedy Central part where he does comedy, right? And there's still a lot of the fear factor. Even in this movie, there were parts of this movie that were legitimately funny, did not feel shoehorned, and the movie was still scary at the same time. And really, from a writing point of view, up until the directing point of view, it's a very, very tricky balance. You know, to make people laugh in a movie where it's also supposed to be scary, and then there is drama, and then there are hidden meanings. Honestly, Nope is a dope movie, and that's it. It's a really nice movie, and I would absolutely recommend it for you guys to watch if you're in the mood for a Jordan Peele kind of movie. If not, yes, skip it. And that's it for this review. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the bell to get notified whenever we release new reviews, new videos, or any other form of upload or content on the channel. It's been Tech for GVNNaija. Be dope, live long, and prosper.